right. It is 7:42, still on December 19th. We are going to resume the open session. The Vernon Hills Park District Board of Commissioners has completed their closed session, and no action was taken in our closed section. So we will move on with the rest of the agenda. Unfinished business, we have none. Reports and communication, Executive Director Jeff Fugero. Jeff?
Thank you. Just a few items. We have our skate park is under review right now with the village through all of our necessary documents that their staff. In your packet, you got the updated design. So we did add that extra square footage in there. You can see we're a little over 5,000 square feet now that with that latest. It's scheduled to go out to bid the week of week of January 6th, and then there's a bid opening 2 weeks later. I think it's the 20th or 21st. James, is the bid opening
For this skate park? It's tomorrow. Park, 21st. Yes.
21st, yeah. And then we'll come back. We have a special meeting scheduled with the park board on the 28th to approve that, just so we can kind of keep on schedule with that. So we're obviously happy with the village's support. We're happy with the school district's support on this community-wide project. The park grant, we had just prior to this meeting, we had a community meeting to invite feedback from our members and our residents on this particular grant regarding some future improvements at the Lakeview Center. We had about 20 people show up to that, so we're pleased with a lot of the conversation that came from that. This project is January 20th is the deadline for that application, so we're working pretty quickly with getting. There's a lot of information that has to go into the requirements of this application. The total project is about $2.7 million. As you remember, this grant is a 75-25, so the state picks up 75% of it. So our commitment is still like $700,000 or $800,000 that we would have to commit to this. So fingers crossed on that. Just a reminder, we have our public officials meeting that's scheduled for Wednesday, January 15th. That's at the Village Hall. That's at 5 p.m. And this is a group of administrators from all the different public entities in the community. And a reminder that our January board meeting is moved up a week because of the state conference. So we will meet again here on the 16th of January. So it's a little earlier than normal. And lastly, I just wanted to congratulate Commissioner Robbins, who has been received from the IAPD from our program there of certifying board masters. I know Cindy Kessler and Jim Ballou will be getting their masters board member recognition. So Bruce is in their distinctive category. So congratulations to you, Bruce. You got a lot of catching up to get to Cindy and Jim, and Dave is right there, and Mike is right there, and get your masters. So I'm sure by this time next year. So it's really, I think, kudos to the board for their involvement in the community, and that's a lot of what it is, and your commitment to just making sure that Parks and Recreation is at the forefront. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Jeff?
I do have one question on this park grant. It's either 75% or zero, is that right? Nothing in between?
Well, we asked for 2.7 million. They could give you $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we still have to pick up the 25% of that. So if they gave us, if they only funded us $1 million of our ask, then we would have to come back to you guys and go, okay, what do we want to cut from this particular, project? So, yeah, very competitive grant. There's only 20 million available, and you can do the math. If we're asking for 2.8 out of that 20, we've heard numbers of close to 100 million that could potentially come in from other entities on this particular grant. So it's going to be really competitive. But it's probably about fall of next year by the time you hear whether we're a recipient or not.
Any other questions? Commissioner Kessler?
So my question is on the skate park. Wondering about, since we're moving it further off the parking lot, do we need to add any lighting to it? And is that something we want to consider? I don't know what the cost would be. Would that extend the amount of use and time that's the users could have?
James, go ahead.
Currently, the skate park is not lit per se. There's two parking lot light, 4 heads that are on the perimeter that casts a decent light, I would say. But there is no light specifically pointed at the skate park to illuminate it, I would say safely, for after dark use. Right now it's 4:30, in the summer 9 o'clock. We could certainly look into putting a dedicated light fixture for the skate park when it gets moved. It's a light pole, coring electrical to the lights, and then having a timer to shut it off at 9:30, 10 o'clock, because the parking lot lights do turn off around 1:30, because we have a staff member here till about then.
Don't you run the risk, you're either gonna light it or you're not gonna light it? You
It has to
can't,
be-
you can't kinda light it.
It has to be completely illuminated, so we would have to have some kind of photometric study done to make sure that every part of the skate park is illuminated safely. And it's a big circle, so having one on one side, you run the risk of the back side just not being lit at all, so.
If theoretically, you could put one right in the middle of the circle.
Yes, you could, yes. It is a skatable area though, it's the bowl. There is a shade structure.
No, you'd put it off to the side, but just
There is
just offset.
Yes, there is a non-skatable area that you could potentially put a light pole with 4 heads.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Next up, Finance and HR Superintendent, Marla DeSico. Marla?
Good evening. We have received the bulk of our property taxes from our filing in 2018. We've received 99.35%. We usually get a small true-up in December from non-payment and et cetera. But we never know quite what that's going to be until the end. But we've done well in collections this year. Our general obligation tax bond series 2019 closed on December 5th, and the district received those bond proceeds on the same day. We want to congratulate Donna Brosmith. She has retired from the district. Her last day was December 13th. Donna worked as a HAP part-time instructor since 2015, and then in 2017 she was promoted to the PALS North Site Supervisor. And then congratulations as well to Sean Chatterjee, Jocelyn Rios, and Shannon Thomas. They were all recently promoted to PALS supervisor positions as we divided up the schools and needed more supervisory positions to run those programs. And we also bid farewell to Angela Tossman. She was a child care teacher at Little Learners since February 2017, and she will be missed. Her last day was also on December 13th. And that is all for this evening, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Marla? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter. Tom?
Good evening. Registration has finally come to a conclusion for our youth basketball leagues, and we have 221 children playing on 26 teams, which is a pretty high figure, I would say, compared to our neighboring communities. I've seen basketball numbers dropping in some communities. Some communities are joining together to create leagues, blending their few teams from each town. We haven't had to do that. I do see a slight decline in 7th and 8th grade boys, which is always one of our biggest leagues, but I just think that has to do with the fact that there's more opportunity to play at the travel level. And as they add more teams, you get less playing in the recreational level. But on the other end, our 1st and 2nd graders, which are not a league, just a recreational program, we've got 90 kids plus a waiting list. So there's still the young kids coming up through the program. It just, I think there's just more opportunities as they get older. So our leagues start on the games start on Saturday, January 11th. And if anyone who's involved in our first and second grade program is willing to coach, it would help us clear those waiting lists because we're looking for more coaches at the younger level. December, January is a very busy time for special events. This weekend we have 2 sold-out events. Our Water Wonderland, which is a swimming opportunity with Santa over at Lakeview Fitness, is sold out. Hoping this gets aired so we don't have drop-ins. It is sold out. It's tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m. And our Polar Express Storytime train on Saturday has been sold out for a long time. So busy weekend for us for the holidays. And then on New Year's Eve, our New Year's Eve party did sell out with 250 attendees. But we decided to move the dancing portion of it into the gymnasium from the community room, as well as the balloon drop. So we expanded that to 350, and we're about 285 or 290 right now. So as of what's today, the 19th, it could sell out. So if anyone sees this is interested, I would sign up as soon as possible. That's from 4 to 6:30 p.m. on the 31st. Our 8th annual Winterfest, a completely free event, will be taking place on January 11th over at Century Park Pavilion from 11 to 2. A lot of the returning activities, we have this Free Spirit Sled Dog demo team comes out. People like to pet the Huskies and watch them do their magic. Ice skating and sledding if the weather permits. We'll see where we are in a few weeks weather-wise. Campfire, we're bringing out like an inflatable slide, some additional interactive things for the kids to do. If it is too warm, we will still have the event. We'll just modify our activities that day. Craft beer. A craft beer tasting will be held on Saturday, February 29th. Tickets are available now. The event is from 5 to 9 p.m. We have live music from a local band called Dizzy Edge. There will be food available for purchase and about 15 local breweries serving somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 or 50 different beers to sample. Designated driver tickets, we've lowered the price to $5 per person. And those are available at the door. Those tickets don't need to be purchased in advance. We average about 225 people each year, slightly more or less each year. But it's a solid turnout. Tickets are $30 through February 22nd. If people choose to wait, it just goes up another $5 the week prior. Just things to remind our residents. Winter time, I know little kids get a little stir crazy and they're looking for things to do. And for those residents that are not aware, Mondays and Thursdays from 9 to 11 a.m., we always have a parent-taught open gym at the Sullivan Center. We put out balls and scooters, a lot of little play toys for the kids, and they run around. We have a pretty good turnout on a regular basis. Nice chance to mingle with some of your neighbors while they're playing. It's only $3, and if people come on a consistent basis, they can get a punch card for $25 for 10 visits. Our very popular holiday open gym is back. We offer a special rate of $2 for children 18 and under, or D73 residents as well. So you'd have to go to our website and pull up our open gym schedule. But whenever there's an open gym for the kids between Friday, December 20th and Friday, January 3rd, the admission's only $2. So it's something great to do over the break. And finally, I know the weather hasn't cooperated yet, but the warming shelter at Century Park Pavilion, some would say hopefully open soon. Some probably like the fact that it's warm, but we don't have ice yet and obviously no snow yet. But once that does happen, we are open on weekends at that pavilion building from 1 to 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Place to warm up. We have, hot chocolate and snacks, and if you're there to skate, we have free loaner skates. So that's my report. If anyone has any questions?
Any questions for Tom? Thank you very much, sir. Next item on the agenda is Park Superintendent James Kim. James?
Good evening. I would like to start with a couple of dates from past board meetings. The 2 to 5-year-old playground at Kid Corral has been ordered, and we have an expected delivery date of January 22nd. We are equipped and we have made space in our yard to store it until it's installed sometime in the spring. The D73 kindergarten playground has also been ordered. There's no definitive delivery date, but they're guaranteeing a March 1st date, the latest. We have a new fleet truck with a snowplow arrived from Landmark Ford. They took in a trade-in for $7,000 for a 2010 F-350, and the hot water heater for Lakeview has been ordered, and we're expecting an install date during the week of January 13th. A couple of current bids that are out there. We're hosting a bid opening December 20th, tomorrow at 2 p.m. and at 2:30 p.m. at the Sullivan Center. The 2 p.m. bid opening is for playground installation at Kitty Corral and District 73 Kindergarten. At 2:30 p.m., the bid opening is for the playground safety surfacing at the D73 Kindergarten. I plan to look over the bids and present awardees at the January 16th board meeting for recommendations. Burn pile. We obtained a permit from the EPA for brush burn piles. Last week we burned several piles at Lake Charles, and this week we had one at Sullivan Woods and at Century Park. Each morning we do contact the fire and police department, let them know our day's activities, and we monitor weather heavily for lift and for wind, make sure it's not going to the schools or any residents. We were notified by Graph Tree Service on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, that they will do a prescribed burn at the Sullivan Woods at around 11 a.m., depending on the frost conditions. Graph Services will conduct the fire with flappers and low-lying fires. Vernon Hills Park District staff will monitor embers on the perimeter with water tanks. We will not allow walking through the path, but if you would like to watch from the edges, be prepared to being stopped short of where we are going to be doing a prescribed burn. The weather does look very favorable. Overnight it's not too low, shouldn't be much frost, and there's going to be a lot of lift. Fuel tank remediation. I recently met with Mancoff Industries regarding the fuel tank remediation at our old shop at 7 Phillips. I submitted to the EPA our most recent corrective action reimbursement claim, as well as a property summary and legal description of the 7 Phillip parcel. They have several months to communicate any further actions need to be taken or hopefully issue us a no further remediation status. And the reimbursement claim is in the amount of $55,252.59, which is roughly about 65 to 70% of what we paid last summer. Finally, just want to kind of advertise Rick Crozier, our Parks Foreman, will be presenting a session at IPRA IAPD conference titled How to Establish an Accredited Arboretum in Your Park. He's going to be discussing the Century Park Arboretum process that we went through early last year. He's had a lot of questions from a lot of park districts on how that happened, and he thought he'd present something. For our solar project, Aaron Raftery, Mike Gasparini from West Chicago Park District and I are co-presenting a session titled Solar Energy Feasible for the Public Sector. We'll be discussing our respective solar projects and all the processes we had to go through. West Chicago was doing a ground mount at the same time we were doing our roof mount, and we literally went through everything exactly the same. And just kind of tell people about the project and tell them to contact their representatives and keep the project moving year after year after year. And that concludes my report. If there's any questions.
Any questions for James? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Marketing Communications Manager Cheryl Buman. Cheryl?
Good evening. Our spring-summer program guide is currently in its first draft. I will be mailed to our residents on February 17th. Marketing Department has submitted numerous photos for the IEPD Give Us Your Best Shot contest. The winners will be announced at the IPRA conference in January. And we're also submitting marketing materials for the Agency Showcase Award, and that also will be awarded at the IPRA conference this coming January. We did complete our, just to let everybody know, the Black Friday fitness special. I'm not sure if Joe was going to talk about this. 141 packages were sold at $99 each. We had a very large social media presence for this personal training. Just a few statistics. We had 32 posts in some way or form. Could be small videos, could have just been some photos. Resulted in over 17,000 impressions, and almost 400 people had some type of engagement. Either they liked it, they clicked it, they read it. So that was a very large social media presence for that promotion. Coming up, we've begun advertising for the Lakeview Fitness Fit in 5 membership. It's their 5-month membership that they can only purchase from January 1st to January 7th, coming up in a couple weeks. And we also, it's not in my report, but we have a preschool open house coming up at the end of January. I wanted to let the residents know that Children 2 through 5 years old are welcome in our preschool. It's January 29th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Sullivan Community Center. This year, we're creating a 4-page booklet that we'll hand out to visitors, and we also have ordered some child-sized water bottles as gifts for visiting the open house. And that's my report for the evening, if there's any questions.
Any questions for Cheryl? Thank you very much. Next item is Facility Manager Joe Zimmerman. Joe?
Good evening. I'll just start with a few membership numbers for November. As of the end of November, we had just over 2,300 active members. We had a little over 14,000 membership visits. And personal training and group fitness were both up from the previous November in 2018. Some aquatic notes. Turtle swim team is steady with their numbers for the season, and the next meet is December 14th at Vernon Hills High School. Swim lesson registration has just started for Winter 1 session. And then some Lakeview notes. I won't go over Fit and 5 again or Black Friday personal training deal, although just to add on to the personal training deal, we did nearly double our sales from 2018, and about a third of the people who purchased that deal are new to personal training, so I thought that was definitely a positive. Just a few other notes. Currently, we have our winter break student membership. If you are home on break or have a student who's home on break, they can purchase a 30-day membership for $30 through December 31st. Winter break open swim from December 22nd to January 5th. Lakeview will be offering a discounted rate for drop-in open swim, $5 for an individual or $10 for a family of up to 4. Our holiday hours, we will be open 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, and we will be closed on Christmas Day. And finally, our December member of the month was Cynthia Hernandez. She's been a member with us since 2013 and is a 2-time cancer survivor. She credits Lakeview for being a huge part of her fitness and recovery journey. So thank you, Cynthia, for being a member of our community. And that's all I have if there are any questions.
Any questions for Joe? Next item, Commissioner Committee reports. There are none. Board correspondence, we have none. New business. Park Grant Program Resolution of Authorization. Could I have a motion to approve the Park Grant Program Resolution of Authorization?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Baloo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Next item, amend alcohol and drug abuse policy effective January 1st, 2020. I wonder what that could be. Ask for a motion to approve amendments to the personal policy, Addendum B, alcohol and drug abuse policy.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call. You got discussion?
Just a quick question.
Go ahead.
I think I read in there, and if I'm wrong, tell me, that we will be testing for marijuana on a pre-employment physical.
I believe, Jeff, that we originally were gonna do that, but then we decided not to. So I
think
can
it says it in
review
there.
the document and make sure maybe there was some wording that
Okay.
wasn't
Maybe I misread
corrected.
it. Maybe I was confused. So I just wanted to make sure, because I know a lot of places aren't. You know,
No.
so that's why I
We,
was
we,
just.
we went back and forth, but then did decide,
That was
that-
Paderma's.
Said it in it, so.
That's what I think it did.
It might have, I was looking at it and I was going, like, I
Yeah,
just wanted to be
I
clear.
believe we pulled it out because originally I wanted to do it, and then Paderma kind of came in and provided some pretty good, accurate information about why not to. And yeah, I'm pretty certain
Okay,
that
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
okay,
So it is not in there.
It wasn't.
it is not going to be a pre-employment
Right.
condition.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Baloo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes, could I have a motion to approve ordinance 6-19, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the year 2019? Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Next item, W.W. Granger invoice payable. Could I have a motion to approve the W.W. Granger invoice payable in the amount of $599.86?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins? Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Abstain. The next items, E and F, adoption of the 2019 CAFR audit and the discussion of the, regarding the engagement by Skiddich. The board will be tabling for this meeting and will be putting on the January 16th, 2020 meeting.
moved. Just need, you need a motion to, yeah.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Blue.
Nothing this evening, other than happy holidays, everyone.
Commissioner Meline.
And the same, happy holiday to all staff and all our residents.
Commissioner Robbins.
It's a happy and healthy new year to everybody.
Commissioner Kessler.
You ran out of things to say. Happy everything.
And myself, again, Commissioner Kessler, Commissioner Robbins, thank you for 10 years of dedicated service to the community. As most people know or don't know, it's an uncompensated position, and it's in many ways a thankless position. So we thank you both for all the years of commitment. And with that, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. We are adjourned. All right, so I'm confused.